When you started 10 years ago, of course you played in smaller venues for like 3,000 or 4,000 people. When you moved to bigger arenas, did you had like a practice to play in front of the huge audiences?
We kind of got thrown into it.
Yeah, because we're opening for bands.
So it'd be like, one day like we'd get a call like, oh, you can do this show, and there's, it's like a festival thing. There's like 10,000 people, and then the next we were in a basement with like 100 kids. You know what I mean? So it was like just kind of putting on the same show for both. But then when it was our own gigs, it changes. Like I think you have to, at least for him as a frontman, I think you have to learn how to reach the back row.
Yeah, I think everybody on stage learned how to connect with everybody, to make sure you're not just looking at what you're used to looking at a club or a theater. You're now looking to that person that may not have the best seats, and so you want them to feel like they're down in front. So I think everybody got really good at that.
I remember a funny story you told about JJ Friends from Twisted Sister.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He gave you some advice for playing. Yeah, what was it?
He said that very thing, because we had been doing parade in these arenas and we're still figuring it out. And he said, man, I was in like the 110s and I kept saying, man, look over here, look at me, and he was right. And I was like, that's really good advice, because they've played, everything from, clubs to giant festivals to arenas, and they've done it all too. So it's like, it was cool to hear that. He was there with his kids, and he was kind of like, oh, you didn't really look over at all. I thought I liked his honesty.
You have told lots of times that the Black Parade tour was kind of hard for you because, of course, the vibes weren't that good and maybe the energy wasn't that good.
Right.
Did you learn something from that tour? Because obviously you guys are enjoying yourself right now.
Right. Well, that's the thing. The vibe right now is really positive and amazing, and I think we did learn a lot on that tour. I think, well, most importantly, we learned, only do it if you really... To come back to it, we had to really love it. Like, we had to make a record that we loved, and we had to make sure we were going to love it out here. So that was a big, important thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, everything you do in life, you should take a lesson from, whether it be good or bad. So, it's you chalk it up to experience, and you learn how to do it better the next time around. And like you said, we're loving what we're doing now. I mean, just the material and really taking a step back and looking at the scope of what the band has done over the past 10 years. It's pretty awesome to play some of those early songs mashed up against some of the new stuff.
Well, Frank, you had a few years ago you released the album with Leathermouth, and of course you have done lots of comic stuff and so on. In the future, would you like to do more this kind of solo projects or something outside MCR?
I think it's just fun to stay productive and creative. Anything to work that muscle. But I think those things kind of sometimes come from the free time. When my camp's not really charging straight ahead on tour or working if we're off cycle or something. So if that happens again or whatever, and we have the time to make that stuff work.
Yeah, that stuff's fun. I think it's good for everybody too to do that kind of thing. I know Mikey wrote a short story, a comic, and it's just important. After this too, I can imagine people in the band just trying other stuff, or even now.
You run the company, running Kennedy. I think we'd rather be burning your information.
All of you guys are married right now, so there's no use for meeting girls on the road and stuff like that.
It never was. That's actually the funny part.
Yeah. But you said that you have given rock bands a bad name because of that, because you have never done any stuff like that.
Absolutely. I've let's just say, without mentioning names, I've sensed frustration or tension around certain kinds of bands because we don't play that kind of game. We've just never been that kind of band, and I think we're a bummer to those kind of bands because we represent kind of the direct opposite, which is, respecting women and not objectifying them and, not basically starting a rock band to get laid, and so that's frustrating for some people. We take the high road and, some people don't like that, so.
But do you think that the whole culture of sex, drugs, and rock and roll
Right.
has changed during the maybe last 15 years?
Absolutely. It can't exist anymore. It's too hard. It's like, not financially, it's a lot of work. Like, you can't go get effed up and then be late for a session. Like, you can't blow off a recording session. Like, we all work too damn hard, and like, producer ain't gonna put up with that. Record label's not gonna care. Like, you know, so the stuff that people used to do back in the day, like, whether it was true even or not, like, you can't do that kind of stuff.
Cut my hair, gag